Today's video is a replay of a live stream that I did inviting everyone into my course, Manifestation for Sensitive Souls. Now, if you're watching this or listening to it the day that this comes out, there is still time for you to join us in the course. It's really a course for those of us who want to learn manifestation, but who are sick of the toxic positivity, the good vibes only, the idea that if you're not manifesting your goals, it's because you're not thinking positively enough and it's because you have too many negative thoughts. We do away with all of that. I have developed a 7-step manifestation process that works no matter what mood you're in. I created this using my background in trauma-informed care. I studied trauma-informed care in grad school. I combined that with everything I know about manifestation, and this is the exact process that I have used to manifest hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I am teaching it to you. So if you want to learn this process with me, there is still time to join Manifestation for Sensitive Souls. The doors are closing on July 31st, 2025, and you can get started for just $55 a month. So if you want the information for the course, that is going to be down below this episode. And without further ado, let's get into the message for today. I hope you love it. Excited to go live for a few minutes and talk to you about getting into alignment with your goals. And this live stream is in honor of my new course, Manifestation for Sensitive Souls. Doors close on July 31st. So if you're watching this before then, you have plenty of time to hop in and you can get started for just $55 a month. And this topic, getting in alignment with your goals, is something that I'm going to be teaching much deeper inside the course. But sometimes when I'm preparing to teach a course, I like to go live and kind of flesh out the idea. So I will share my thoughts, my first drafts. I have like some notes in a notebook here, and I'll just talk through how I'm approaching this idea. And then by the time we get to the course, it will be polished, there will be slides, there will be homework assignments, and it will be a much more thorough teaching. And of course, it will just be one of 7 modules that are in the course. But for now, let's talk through for maybe 10-15 minutes how you can get into alignment with your goals. And the first thing that I want to just clarify up front is that sometimes it can be harder for sensitive people to get into alignment with our goals. Oh, hey, Jessica. Sometimes it can be harder for sensitive people to get into alignment with our goals because we take everything to heart. We take everything so personally. So if you set a goal and you're not hitting that goal, and maybe it's been a long time and you are consistently failing at it, sometimes sensitive people don't even want to say the word failure. And that's something that I want to speak up more about, because the word failure is not like a death sentence. And I wish that we all as a society had a healthier relationship with failure, but that is not the purpose of this live stream. What I will say though, is that we want to make sure that when we're setting goals, we are not making it mean something good or bad about ourselves when we set the goal. So it's not like I'll feel good about myself if I hit this goal and I'll feel bad about myself if I don't hit this goal. Because really what we're saying on the inside is I don't feel bad about myself now, and I need this goal to tell me I'm good enough. I need this goal to validate me. I need this goal to give me permission to feel good about myself. But until I hit this goal, I am withholding that permission. And this is going to be in varying degrees for everyone. But if this is resonating with you, what you really want to look at here is cultivating a sense of self-worth and self-love that has nothing to do with your achievements, and that has nothing to do with how much money you're making, how many clients you have, any external result outside of you. Just knowing in and of yourself that you can choose to view yourself a certain way regardless of whether or not you hit your goals. And that is something that has to be happening if you're going to go through a process of manifestation, and especially if you're going to be using manifestation to go for really big things and to change your life. You need to have your self-worth locked in, and that needs to be a continual thing that you are practicing on a daily basis, so that you're not accidentally making your manifestations responsible for your self-worth. And that's something that a lot of sensitive people do. There's no shame at all. I have definitely done this, and I'm speaking from experience when I'm saying like this is work that has to be done consistently, so that you are not gripping onto your goals in a way that ultimately takes you out of alignment. Another thing, and I'm just going to look down at my notes to make sure I'm saying, everything I wanted to say. But another way that you'll know that you're not in alignment with your goals is that you are saying you're setting this goal, but you're not actually consistently taking action on it. And a lot of this could be maybe because you're in analysis paralysis. You're telling yourself, I have no idea how to even get started. And then you're putting it off. Maybe you're afraid of what will happen if you go for it and you don't get it. And again, that's like that fear of failure piece that I am like so passionate about, because failure is a part of growth. But again, more on that in Manifestation for Sensitive Souls. We don't have time to go into that right now. But for one reason or another, you have the goal set. You maybe even are telling people that you've set this goal, but for sometimes it's like you won't even tell anyone that you've set this goal, and your actions do not demonstrate that you have this goal. And so one thing that I say a lot is that I should be able to be a fly on the wall of your life and know what your goals are. And a fly on the wall is not asking you questions, so you can't use words to tell the fly that you have a certain goal. You have to just act in such a way where that fly on the wall can see, oh, this person is moving towards this thing. And that takes a lot of courage to really show up and put your actions in line with your goals. But if you're not consistently taking action to show up and create the life that you want, then you are not in alignment with your goals, and that is a sign. There was one more sign that I wanted to talk through, and then we'll talk through how to actually get into alignment. But I want to make it clear, like, this is exactly how you will know if you're not in alignment. It's not just as simple as you're in alignment when you get the result and you're out of alignment before, like, if you don't have the result. There are ways that you can tell much sooner than that. And a lot of the times waiting around to get results to tell you whether or not you're in alignment can do you a disservice, because you have the option to know whether or not you're in alignment way before your goal happens. And if you find yourself out of alignment, you can course correct, which is what I'll talk about later, so that you can actually hit the goal. And so, okay, you are taking the results personally, you are setting goals, but you're not actually taking action. And then another thing that I want to say here is you are really tying your own perception, not just of yourself, but of like the way the world works, other people versus you. Like you're making the goal so complicated. It's like you're like, I could do this, but unfortunately, because of the world we live in, I can't do it. Or, I would love to have this one day, but unfortunately, because of all these things that are outside of my control, it won't happen for me. And you're basically assigning power to everything outside of you and making those things more powerful than you. So you're telling yourself, because I'm going through this divorce, or because I am a single parent, or because of who is in office politically, or because of this law that just changed, or because of whatever it might be, I can't live the life that I want. And so even though I would love to do this and it would be nice, it realistically, like, it just can't happen. And these are all the reasons why. And all of these reasons are outside my control. Like, if you're in that place and if you're having those conversations with yourself, if you're having those conversations with others, that is how you know you're not in alignment with your goal. Even though you have the desire for something, you're not actually lined up to it. And again, these are all just things to be aware of. All of these are things that I have done in the past. And it's not so much like, oh, shame on you, you're out of alignment. It's just look out for these things, because if you find that you're in these situations, if you find that this is true for you, then you need to implement the solution that I'm about to give you. And then once you implement the solution, everything is going to be fine. So these are not death sentences. These are just things to be aware of, and I cannot stress that enough. I'm going to take a sip of matcha. If you have a beverage nearby, I would encourage you to hydrate as well, because at least here in New York, it is so freaking hot. And I have been drinking like a million cold beverages. I have like water and matcha here. And I've just been drinking all the cold beverages. So, ooh. That was gross. Okay, hydration break over. But here's what you actually need to do. And the first thing, in order to get into alignment with your goals, if you notice you've gone out of alignment, is you need to let go of the all or nothing thinking. So telling yourself that, okay, I had something come up and I'm going to assume everything's fine. I got like a notification from Instagram. I'm going to keep talking as if everything is fine, and if we need to go live again later because this didn't work, then I'll go live again later. I want to get these points across. So, okay. First thing that you need to do in order to actually get into alignment with your goals, let go of the all or nothing thinking. Let go of the idea that it's now or never. Let go of the idea that it has to be this, and if it's not this, then your life is going to suck. Let go of the idea that it needs to happen within a certain time frame, and if it doesn't happen within that time frame, it's going to suck. Anything that's making you feel like it has to be this particular way or it's not good enough, find that within yourself and then let it go. Let it go. And the work to let that go is obviously much deeper work, and that's something that I can support you with inside Manifestation for Sensitive Souls. If you're resonating with this, the intention that you need to set within yourself is being willing to let go of the attachment and the grippiness and really the desperation that's making me micromanage this goal to the point where I can't even move towards it, or to the point where I can't even see myself as the kind of person who needs to have it. And so again, you also want to be working with your self-image, and that is like an always thing, like a continuous thing, practice seeing yourself as someone who gets to have what you desire. But when you're working on your self-image, it might be really hard. Like, for example, if one day down the line you want to make $1 million in a year through a business that you're building, it might be hard for you to see yourself that way right now, if right now you're making like $2,000 a month in your business, or you haven't even started your business. So what I'm going to tell you is stop making the most massive jump possible and then expecting yourself to still resonate with that goal. Like, if you don't resonate with that goal, it could just be because that goal is so far out of what you believe is possible for you right now. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, there's no issue there. But what you need to practice doing is setting stepping stone goals or milestone goals in between where you ultimately want to end up and where you are now. So if you've never started your business, maybe a stepping stone goal is like, I want to make $500 in 30 days. I want to start the business and I want to make my first $500. And I'm giving myself 30 days and I just want to try it. And then when you set the goal, what you want to do as well is come up with as many ideas as possible for how you can actually make that first $500. And I'm just giving this example because it's very tangible, but apply this to whatever works for you, whatever goal you have. So chunk the goal down so that it is just one step above where you already are right now today. And then brainstorm as many ideas as you can for what could get you there, how you actually pull this off. And once you have your brainstorm, implement all of those ideas, test, and see it as an experiment. See it as I'm trying to find out what works. Not, if this doesn't work, then I'm screwed. If this doesn't work, then I'm a failure. If this doesn't work, then it's never going to work for me. But really, like, get into experimentation mode and just say, I'm going to try this and see what happens. I'm going to try this and see what happens. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to try this. If this doesn't work, I'm going to try this. And see yourself as a person who's going on a journey to learn how to do this first milestone, to learn how to achieve and manifest this first goal. And brainstorm literally as much as you can. Like, you want to get into this space where it's like, you will never run out of ideas. Like, I have an infinite well of ideas. So push yourself and see if you can come up with 10 different ideas for how you can manifest that first milestone, and then implement all of them. Try each and every single one of them, cross them off your list, and in those first 10 ideas, you might hit it. You might be like, okay, that worked, and now I know how to do that, in which case you would move on to another milestone that was a little bit above where you now are, like a little bit above your new status. But in the first 10, you also might not hit it, in which case come up with 5 more, keep coming up with ideas, and then keep learning from each and every attempt. So if you try something and it doesn't work out, don't go into like, oh, woe is me, I'm horrible. And if you find yourself going to that place, of course, meet that with love and meet that with compassion, but don't use that energy to drive your decision making. And again, I can go so much deeper into this in the container of a course, but for now, meet those ideas would love if they come up. Don't let them drive your decisions. But what you want to do instead is just redirect your brain and say, okay, that didn't work. What are my theories for why that didn't work? If I had to give myself 3 objective reasons, like reasons that any person would agree with, reasons that don't require me to be mean to myself, just like 3 objective reasons for why this didn't work out. Okay, cool. Now, when I come up with the next batch of ideas, how can I implement what I've already learned from these failed attempts? And so this is how I want your mind to be working. The milestones, the iteration, the ideas, the brainstorming, and the willingness to say, I am going to figure this out no matter how long it takes. It might take 10 ideas, it might take 50 ideas, but I'm going to implement all these ideas. I'm going to learn along the way, and I'm going to get to that first milestone. And how you'll know you've hit a good milestone is when you actually have a lot of ideas. If you are telling yourself, I have no idea whatsoever, I don't know what to do, your milestone is probably still too far away from where you're at now. If someone was to ask me to come up with a bunch of ideas to get somewhere that I've never gone and to do something I've never done, I am going to have more ideas if it is at least somewhat similar to my current life versus if it is so far removed from my current life. Like if someone was like, how do you win a Grammy? I would be like, I don't know, sing. Like I have no idea how to win a Grammy. I've never done that, and I'm not even on the path to doing that in any way whatsoever. But if someone was to ask me, how do you make a $20,000 day in an online business, and the most I've had is a $15,000 day, I can come up with ideas for what would I need to be doing in order to come up with a $20,000 day. And I could do this whole exercise of I've got my 10 ideas, I'm going to try them, I'm going to learn from it, I'm going to come up with more if those don't work. For me, that is an appropriate milestone. And you get to come up with a milestone that is appropriate for you, given where you're at, given what makes sense for you, and a milestone that really moves you in the direction of your ultimate goal without asking you to literally bend reality and get somewhere that is so far off from where you have ever been before that it just freaks you out and you have no idea where to get started. Okay, that was everything that I wanted to say. I genuinely hope this live stream saves and that it serves you and that you are able to run with the ideas. And then, of course, if you want all of the depth, if you want homework laid out for you, if you want to be able to come to office hours and ask me questions about this, if you want to be able to email me and ask me how this applies to your specific situation, all of that is happening inside the Manifestation for Sensitive Souls course. Doors are closing on Thursday, July 31st, July 31st, and you can get in starting at $55 a month for 6 months or one payment of $297. We also have a pay in full bonus, which is a 60-minute private coaching session with me. So if you swing the pay in full, I would love to coach you personally, and that could be a really great way for us to go deep into all of this material. Okay, I love you so much. I will see you again very soon in another live stream, and I would love to see you in the course. Take care. Okay. I feel like this... Okay, here we go. Now I'm actually ending. Okay, take care for...